Labą rytą. Labas.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Speaker of the Seimas, Your Excellencies, diplomats and ambassadors, and human rights defenders. It has been a tradition that we celebrate the 10th of December. This is the 7th forum that we discuss and debate on human rights agenda and the level of human rights in Lithuania, with the pursuit of making Lithuania a better place to live for representatives of different communities. This forum is dedicated to the 20th anniversary of Lithuania's membership in the EU, and this is the 7th forum. I also welcome our audience online on YouTube and elsewhere. And there's also a possibility to have the translation of our event and also into the English language and into the sign language. Now I'd like to give the floor to the Speaker of the Seimas.
Good morning, dear participants of the forum. We are encouraged to discuss these very important questions when we're celebrating our 20th anniversary of Lithuania membership in European Union, and we will be talking about how much we've achieved during those 20 years. Next year, we will be commemorating the 35th anniversary of the restoration of the Republic of Lithuania. And during our history, when we survived 50 years of occupation, we would talk about dissidents who fought against the regimes. But before that, we mentioned that those dissidents were human rights defenders. It means that our path to freedom was closely connected with the main idea not only to restore our state, but to restore a state that ensures and defends human rights. And our decisions to join the European Union also showed our intentions about our future. And today we would not hold this forum if everything was all right in Lithuania. And there are many areas in our country which lack our attention, which are full of fear, stereotypes, and our unwillingness to see certain topics that are relevant for some people. And we can talk about many topics, and those topics should be interesting for the whole society, and we should not divide our society into groups that are interested only in different human rights issues. As a lawyer, I would like to ask whether we ensure people's life to private life, private conversations, inviolability of our housing. No, we do not ensure these rights. When there are certain proceedings, people are very often convicted before hearing the ruling of the court. There's a big gap between us and European countries in ensuring equal social, economic opportunities. Speaking about poverty, about people who raise small children, we still haven't reached the EU average. We will be discussing about a variety of topics related to the agenda of the previous Seimas in ensuring the rights of minorities to receive proper legal protections, to have equal status with other parts of the society. And when certain promises are made, and when certain human rights become agenda of some political parties, I think we need to discuss, to solve, to find solutions, not to imitate the process, but to find the solutions. I saw that on today's agenda, you will be discussing about the new Seimas and its agenda on human rights. And I would like the Seimas to stop talking and start doing, especially talking about the issues that cause certain conflicts in terms of values. I hope this Seimas will show its political will, its wisdom, and its understanding that our society is as strong as it's tolerant. And let's solve the matters related to legal issues. Let's not interfere into the areas where the state should not interfere. Let's discuss, but we must also find the solutions. I hope the new government and its new plan, as well as the Seimas agenda, will include all the most important questions related to human rights, whether it relates to family issues, civil partnership issues, or other matters of private life protections. Because whenever these things are being discussed, there are many people who want to put pressure and say that some things should not be changed. The greatest threat is when the society is polarized and cannot make joint decisions. Seimas is the mirror of our society that represents all the groups of the society, and Seimas has to solve the issues of all the society. I will not be making promises, but I hope we will have political will and resolve to respond to the interests of our society and make important decisions rather than engaging in only in pointless discussions. So I wish everyone fruitful, brave discussions that would send message to politicians and to the relevant committees regarding your immediate expectations, which should be fulfilled by us as politicians. I'm happy that we live in a free society and we can discuss and find compromises, because compromise is necessary and we must achieve it. Even though in the face of geopolitical threats that we're facing, and if we talk about our resolve to defend our country can be defended only by the society that supports each other. So I wish you fruitful work, and in 4 years, when we meet in this forum once again, we will be able to reap the fruits of concrete decisions. Thank you.
I thank the Speaker of the Seimas. The Speaker of the Seimas said that we should not be afraid to engage in debate, and I believe that people here are really brave to do that. I want to thank you on behalf of the organizers, and I would like to say that we don't need 4 years, so we can see the first results even faster. I thank the speaker. He has to leave us now. And now we will start the debate that will be courageous, I believe. And I would like to give the floor to Marius Vaščega for another welcome address. Mr. Vaščega is head of the European Commission representation in Lithuania. Good morning. It is a pleasure to be here. I welcome such events on this important day. The forum of this year is exceptional because it is held in commemoration of the 20th anniversary of Lithuania's membership in the EU. Next year, the European Union will celebrate its 75th anniversary because in 1950, on the 9th of May, Schuman Declaration was adopted. It was oriented to securing peace, and this is one of the poles of the European Union that the European Union was built on. Another pole of the European Union is democracy, human rights, and justice. And these are very important pillars. Without them, it is difficult for us to imagine the European Union and the very essence of the EU. Today, these pillars are being threatened, seriously threatened by unfriendly countries, different countries that say that democracy can be different in different places, that human rights can have a different level. But this is untrue. These are universal things that we have to protect and defend. Let us look at Ukraine. War is the worst and the most systemic violation of human rights, an attempt to delete democracy, raise democracy and the choice, the possibility of choice. If you look at Lithuania and see how people assess the operation of democracy in Lithuania, more than 50% of people have positive evaluation of the operation of democracy, of the functioning of democracy, and this is a very good figure. This is the best figure ever in Lithuania. But this is not the end. We are facing many challenges. If we ask people in the same pulse whether they see any discrimination in Lithuania, they would give a positive answer, and which is higher than the EU average. And the reasons are very different in terms of racial aspects and other aspects. Even in the areas where Lithuania is very different from the EU average, age is also the factor where discrimination exists. Therefore, we cannot stop at our achievements. We have to think on our further steps. I hope that this discussion will focus on education, because I believe that by teaching the younger generation, we can really ensure that human rights and democracy survive, and we can move forward. We should also remember that we have to defend human rights and human rights activists. And here I recall a very well-known phrase, or rather quotation, saying that the end of the world comes when evil wins, not when the evil wins, but rather when people who can change things are passive in observation. Let us remember this today, on the Day of Human Rights, but also on other days of the year. I wish you fruitful discussions, and I congratulate you on Human Rights Day.
Mariui Vaščegai pradėjo veikti mikrofonas.
I thank the head of the European Commission representation in Lithuania. Now we have the panel of human rights activists. We have 15 minutes for short remarks and short, brief debate. Before the beginning of this forum, I asked you about your opinion, whether the EU agenda is accepted in Lithuania, and what are the major future efforts for the upcoming legislature in terms of the EU agenda as well. I would like to give the floor to Milda Ališauskienė, sociologist, one of the co-organizer of this forum. So I give you 2 minutes.
Thank you for the question. I will be brief, but before everything, I would like to congratulate everyone on International Human Rights Day. I'm happy to see so many visitors, so many guests who participate every year. And as for the European human rights agenda, it is a very difficult question because even though everyone is talking about it, the politicians are talking about it, and everyone knows that this agenda exists. But what I miss is the leadership in implementing this agenda and our work with the society, talking to the society, raising awareness about the importance of human rights and the fact that democracy is impossible without human rights. So this is my first answer. As for the immediate work to be done by the Seimas, I would like to wish the Seimas to acknowledge ancient Baltic religious community Romuva. And as for the European Union and the new Commission and its new commissioners, as well as new posts, I hope they will be looking for the solutions how to persuade member countries to ratify the Istanbul Convention and find the solutions regarding the same-sex partnership in the European Union. Thank you for this list of expectations. I hope Seimas will hear it and take it into consideration when voting. I would like to give the floor to Dr. Laurynas Šedvydis, member of the Seimas and the chair of the Committee on Human Rights.
Thank you. Milda mentioned Romuva community. Today we're having the second voting on this item. This is a very specific target, and I hope that Romuva will finally be acknowledged as a religious community of the state level. The main issue that we have to discuss is the definition of human rights. We had a 4-year period when human rights were being understood in a very narrow sense by focusing on certain groups. Some of the groups were actually omitted in this debate, and the area of violence against women. And in the context of this topic, some issues, unfortunately, were forgotten. I think that we have to be horizontal in this respect. In terms of the new legislature and the possibilities to do something more or to have a breakthrough, I believe that we have a narrative that the right-wing political parties can make a certain breakthrough only. But my observation is very simple. If we look at the cases of the European Court of Human Rights, the situation is not very positive. I believe that in the upcoming several yes, we will see some fall in the situation of certain groups and certain areas of human rights. Therefore, I believe that we have to reconsider our previous elections. We had a movement towards center, not towards right or towards left. And in various areas of human rights, defending women against violence and other areas, I believe that we will have a breakthrough. Thank you. I believe that we will have this breakthrough. And I would like to give the floor to Jurgita Germanavičienė, Ambassador at Large for Democracy Development and Human Rights of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Thank you very much. I congratulate you all on the Human Rights Day and on very important discussions. I see this a variety of topics that will be debated on. I have a short remark on the human rights agenda of the European Union and it being understood in Lithuania. My answer is positive, but we cannot stop in the development in this area, and we can see falls in this area. One of the areas that Lithuania is very active in the international context is engagement in different conventions, and reviews are being made in our legislation, but some things could be improved after receiving recommendations. I will give you one example, and this topic will be widely discussed in this forum. Convention on elimination of all forms of discrimination against women. Yes, Lithuania is implementing this convention. We have the Gender Equality Institute in Lithuania, but I believe that we lack engagement of women in public life. The Speaker of the Seimas also mentioned that we live in the era of geopolitical challenges. And some of the parts of our society are underrepresented, and we have to answer the question whether women will be adequately represented in the face of a threat. The government discusses in its program external threats. I also thank the chair of the new Committee on Human Rights of the Lithuanian Parliament. He will be speaking in January on the safety of women. Thank you, Ambassador, for your insights. And now I'd like to give the floor to Indrė Širvinskaitė, President of the Lithuanian Disability Forum.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As for the European Agenda on Human Rights, I would like to remind and remark that this agenda is being implemented in Lithuania, and also Lithuania contributes to the shaping of this agenda. And the Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities, Lithuania ratified this convention in 2010. So we are definitely shaping the European agenda and our national policies. As the organizations of Lithuanian Disability Organization Forum, watching the main priorities of the new government and its new program, we see that issues related to the people with disabilities are present in those programs, but one of the most painful questions was not included, which is the reform reform of incapacity, which should have been implemented many years ago. And today we will be discussing this reform in one of the discussions of the forum. It is concerning that even this concept was not used in the government program, and maybe there's still possibility to include this term, because this would show the commitment to change, to improve the situation. And the situation is rather terrible because there is a group of people who don't have guarantees, and they're even and the basic human rights are not guaranteed. They're not legal subjects. Their reproductive rights are not insured. We still have the possibility of forced sterilization in Lithuania, and there's many people who are looking for some changes in this area. And even if not in the government's program, there will be political will during this legislative term. But the fact is that the situation has to change. I would like to thank once again politicians and the chair of the Committee on Human Rights for their attention. And I hope this question will also be included in the agenda of the Seimas. Thank you, Indrė Širvinskaitė. We've heard several other concrete suggestions. Milda, please pass the microphone to Edita Žiobienė, Ombudsperson for Child's Rights of the Republic of Lithuania.
Kad ir vaiko teisės yra žmogaus.
Well, I congratulate you on the Human Rights Day. I would like to stress that children's rights are also human rights. The Children's Rights Convention is celebrating its 35th anniversary this year. We have some changes in Lithuania thanks to this convention. But adopting decision is step one. Step two is the implementation, and implementation is the area that we really face problems. And due to such circumstances, we face different problems. And institutions sometimes fail to address certain issues. Therefore, we have to look in a wider perspective. What can be done? We should not forget that people need this change here and now and not in 20 years. And another important thing is that neither democracy nor human rights should be taken for granted. We should have to ensure those rights here and now for all of us. Thank you, Madam Žiobienė. And now I would like to give the floor to Erika Leonaitė, Seimas Ombudsperson for investigation of activities of state institutions and officials. Now, answering this question on the EU agenda in Lithuania, yes, so we have accepted this agenda in Lithuania because we had no other choice, and we can welcome this fact and be happy that we would not be punished in the same way as Poland was by the European Union. But can we really say that human rights agenda is very natural for us? My answer is not quite. I agree with Ms. Žiobienė. We are good at deciding, at adopting laws and legal regulation, but legal regulation is not always put into practice, and we don't always have adequate resources for the implementation. And this does not always result in adequate changes of mentality in society. Therefore, our positive result is that we meet today and we discuss those issues. And if we had not taken this agenda as natural in Lithuania, we would meet in a different we would be meeting in a different format. The visibility of those issues and problems is a very good turn. And therefore, our task is to make it a reality and everyday reality. And the main motto and expectation for the government and the parliament in Lithuania is that the initiatives that were undertaken in terms of capacity reform and ensuring equal rights should be continued and further pursued. So this is my expectation. I thank Mr. Leonaitė, and I give the final word for Artūras Rudomanskis, who is a representative of the Tolerant Youth, and he is a representative of the Coalition of Human Rights.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I congratulate everyone on the International Day on Human Rights. 2 years ago, I was sitting in this very same place, and it was the midterm of the previous term, and I made rather strict remarks about politicians. And the situation is rather serious because our small country has several dozens of cases in the European Court of Human Rights. And it shows that in 4 years, surveys on society attitudes show that 54% of people would not be neighbors with people who are homosexuals. And top 6 out of 10 questions were related to immigrants, so the situation is rather serious. The new Seimas and the new European Commission that are addressing even more global challenges related to migrants and the challenges related, human rights challenges related to them, I would like to say that at our national level, our Seimas doesn't have to wait for 4 years. The situation has to be solved as soon as possible. And I would like to wish that in 2 years there would be results achieved, because certain changes have to be made, and what problems need to be solved was enlisted by my colleagues, and I would like to invite everyone to participate actively in the discussions of this forum, the meetings of this forum, to find out more about the existing problems and possible solutions to them. Thank you, Artūras Rudomanskis. Thank you, everyone, for speaking up and for pointing our attention to many painful problems, because as the Speaker of the Seimas told that sometimes human rights are understood in a very narrow manner, but today we've heard a wide spectrum of those human rights, and I hope these questions will be addressed by the new Seimas and the new European Commission. I would like to invite everyone to join the discussions which have already started. The discussions will be taking place the whole day, and have a good day.